You know that feeling, right? Every single week, from the moment those first warm buds open in spring all the way to the autumn frost, millions of us are dragging out the lawnmower. We spend hours, literally hours, marching back and forth in the blazing summer heat. You're wrestling with the pull cord, breathing in the exhaust, emptying those heavy, wet bins of clippings, only to finally put the mower away, knowing for an absolute certainty that you're going to have to do the exact same physical chore in just a few days. It's an endless cycle, isn't it? It can honestly make our gardens feel a bit more like a demanding workplace than the peaceful sanctuary they're supposed to be.
If you're exhausted by that cycle, let me tell you, you are definitely not alone. A lot of experienced horticulturalists will actually tell you that the traditional lawn is the most time-consuming, expensive, and least ecologically valuable feature in most of our gardens. It just constantly demands our time, our water, and our energy. But what if we didn't have to live with that burden? Today, I want to gently introduce you to a genuinely transformative idea. We're going to look at how you can actually replace that demanding grass with completely maintenance-free ground covers that literally give you your weekends back.
Just imagine that for a second. What if your lawn never needed mowing again? What if it looked even more beautiful, naturally suppressed weeds all on its own, and required almost zero watering? Well, we are going to walk through some incredibly practical alternatives today. And actually, I want to plant a little seed of curiosity for you right now, because at the very end of today's list, I'm going to share a deeply fragrant, almost magical ground cover. It's a plant so stunning and so utterly effortless that once you experience walking barefoot on it, I promise you, you will never ever want a normal grass lawn again.
But before we dive into the plants themselves, let's just go over the ground cover essentials. These are the 4 rules that make a plant truly lawn-worthy. Because, in all my years of gardening, I've realized not every low-growing plant makes the cut. First off, it absolutely has to spread quickly and densely. Second, it needs to suppress weeds entirely on its own. Third, it has to look attractive year-round, or at least for the vast majority of it. And fourth, it must require minimal maintenance once it's established. As we go through our list, you're going to see how different plants perfectly solve specific garden headaches. We're talking solutions for baking hot slopes, deep dark shade under mature trees, and even those frustrating high-traffic pathways.
Okay, let's start with an absolute sensory delight. This is Creeping Thyme. It forms this beautiful, dense mat of tiny leaves that never really gets taller than a couple of inches. It's a plant that always gets the most surprised, delighted reactions from garden visitors. And the real magic happens when you step on it. Imagine taking an evening stroll across your garden. The soil is still warm, and with every gentle footstep, those crushed leaves release the most beautiful, fresh, herbal fragrance right into the air. To get this going, you just space small plugs about 15 centimeters apart in well-draining soil. Give them regular water for the first few weeks, and you'll actually watch them spread out through creeping stems to form a completely weed-proof mat by midsummer. It loves sunny pathways, and once it's established, it's completely drought-tolerant. Plus, in early summer, it covers itself in tiny pink or purple flowers that the bees go absolutely crazy for. After that, honestly, zero maintenance. It's a brilliant start. But let's move over to a totally different part of the garden.
Now let's look at a totally different situation. This is a juga, which a lot of folks know as bugle. I have found this to be the absolute perfect solution for that impossible, deeply shaded, compacted soil right under your mature trees where grass just flat out refuses to grow. A juga spreads enthusiastically through these above-ground runners called stolons. To establish it, just plant small pots roughly 30 centimeters apart, give them a good initial drink, and just let them go to work. It creates this dense, glossy, bronze-purple carpet that requires almost no feeding at all. And the best part? Every spring, right when you think that dark corner is just a lost cause, it throws up these absolutely stunning, vivid sea blue flowers. Plant this once and your under-tree maintenance problem is permanently gone. It really is that straightforward.
Moving along, let's take a cue from what our grandparents knew all along, the Micro-Clover lawn. Before the chemical companies of the 1950s convinced everyone it was a weed, clover was actually a highly desired part of any good lawn. And for a very good reason. A micro-clover lawn forms a lush, vibrant green carpet that produces its own nitrogen. That literally means it feeds itself. You can easily just broadcast micro-clover seed directly over your existing soil in early spring. Keep it moist for a week or two, and it germinates incredibly fast, spreading into a dense, soft mat. While a regular grass lawn is turning brown and crispy during a summer drought, a clover lawn stays vibrantly green and hums with happy bees all summer long. It's really the ultimate ecological choice if you still want that classic green look, but without all the endless feeding and mowing.
We still have some wonderful problem-solving plants to get through, but I just want to quietly remind you that the most extraordinary, magical lawn replacement is still to come. That ultimate,
deeply fragrant garden floor I mentioned earlier is waiting for you at the end of the explainer, so definitely stay with me. Next up is dichondra. If you're after a flawless, perfectly manicured look without ever having to turn on a mower, well, this is it. It forms a jaw-dropping emerald green, or sometimes a really striking silver, carpet of tiny little kidney-shaped leaves. What's truly amazing about dichondra is just how quickly it establishes itself. It likes slightly sandy, well-draining soil. Just lightly rake the seeds into the top layer of earth, keep the surface a bit damp while they sprout, and you'll watch it weave together so rapidly. Grown from seed like this, you can get full coverage in just 6 to 8 weeks in a nice, warm, sunny spot. And the absolute best part, it never grows taller than 2 or 3 centimeters. Your mower can just stay firmly locked in the shed, and you get to enjoy this pristine, velvety surface all year round.
Let's step back into the cool shade for a moment and look at the ancient, effortlessly beautiful moss lawn. Honestly, in all my years of gardening, there is almost nothing quite as serene as a Japanese-inspired moss lawn. If you have deep, damp shade, moss provides a surface that is incredibly peaceful and feels absolutely springy and lovely underfoot. You can easily encourage it by making a simple buttermilk and moss slurry. You just paint that buttermilk mixture right onto bare, acidic soil, keep it gently misted during dry spells, and nature basically does the rest for you. As the moss spores take hold, they create a dense, velvety layer. And once it's established, we're talking absolutely zero maintenance. It loves the rain, it doesn't need feeding, and it simply gets more lush and peaceful year after year.
Now, for those really tricky areas, the difficult slopes or mixed borders, experienced gardeners almost always reach for Vinca minor, the lesser periwinkle. This is a wonderfully reliable, evergreen trailing carpet. To get it started, simply space your young plants about 45 centimeters apart. And whether they're sitting in baking morning sun or deep afternoon shade, they are just remarkably forgiving. It will quietly and persistently conquer pretty much any bank. As its stems trail along the ground, they root deeply into the soil wherever they touch, which forms a permanent, completely weed-proof mat. And as a really cheerful bonus, it produces these lovely lilac blue spring flowers. It just dependably and beautifully gets on with the job, holding the soil in place and looking fantastic while doing it.
We are getting very close now. Are you ready to discover the ultimate sensory garden experience? We have just 2 more brilliant problem solvers to look at, and then I am finally going to reveal the most romantic, fragrant lawn replacement imaginable.
Have you ever struggled with weeds constantly popping up in those frustrating little gaps between your paving stones? Well, Pratia, or Blue Star Creeper, is the single most perfect solution for that exact problem. It forms a beautifully flat, bright green mat that creeps right along the surface and fills those gaps entirely. To plant it, you just divide a larger plant into tiny little plugs and tuck them directly into the sandy gaps between your stones. It roots incredibly quickly and needs only minimal watering once it's settled in. Then, all summer long, it absolutely bursts with tiny, delicate blue flowers, giving you a soft, hazy blue carpet right under your feet. It's tough, too. It happily tolerates daily foot traffic, magically turning your pathways into a charming feature instead of a never-ending weeding chore.
And what about that dry, baking hot, sunny bank where literally nothing seems to survive? That is where creeping sedum or stonecrop comes to the rescue. This is a brilliant succulent ground cover, which means it actually stores water right inside its fleshy leaves. It will cheerfully survive extreme drought, poor soil, and complete neglect. Honestly, it thrives on it. It is so incredibly easy to establish. You can quite literally snap off a fleshy stem, press it right into gritty, poor soil, and it'll root itself perfectly. In the summertime, it covers those difficult banks in a vibrant mat of star-shaped flowers that draw in butterflies from all over the neighborhood. So if you have a spot where your grass just scorches brown every July, creeping sedum is your permanent, beautiful, zero-effort answer. And now, we have finally arrived at the ultimate reveal, the chamomile lawn. I have saved this one for last because it is, without a doubt, the most beautiful, extraordinary ground cover available to us. It's a surface so magical, so calming, and so steeped in history, you will honestly wonder why you ever bothered growing grass in its place. I really want you to imagine taking off your shoes and walking barefoot across a dense, soft, springy cushion in the warm summer sunlight. With every single step you take, the leaves release this intense, fresh, sweet, apple-like fragrance that just completely fills the air around you. This is the non-flowering Trenegue chamomile. It's a historically romantic ground cover that dates all the way back to medieval pleasure gardens. To create this magic at home, you plant small plugs of the Trenegue variety about 20 centimeters apart in light, well-draining soil.
Give them regular water during their first summer, and they'll slowly knit together into a dense, permanent cushion. It stays perfectly low, it feels wonderfully springy underfoot, it requires absolutely no mowing forever, and it creates a peaceful sensory experience that a traditional lawn simply cannot ever match. It is just pure joy.
Now I know that looking at your whole lawn right now might feel a little bit overwhelming. So here is my advice. Please don't try to do it all at once. The process is very straightforward and entirely stress-free if you just take your time. Step 1. Simply start with one small section where your grass is already struggling. Step 2. Smother that existing grass by covering it with some cardboard and a nice thick layer of compost. Step 3. Gently prepare your soil and plant your chosen ground cover gradually. And Step 4. Just mulch between the new plants while they establish to keep any weeds at bay. You can expand section by section, year by year at your own comfortable pace. It is completely achievable, and I promise you the results are so worth it.
By embracing the no-mow life, just look at what we achieve here. Less mowing, less back-aching work, and far, far less maintenance. And in return, we get more flowers, more visits from beautiful wildlife, and a dramatically more beautiful space. Your garden stops being this demanding weekly chore, and it transforms back into what it was always meant to be in the first place. A place of peace, relaxation, and genuine enjoyment that literally grows richer every year with almost zero effort.
If this explainer has given you a little bit of inspiration to reclaim your weekends and transform your garden floor, I would be so incredibly grateful if you liked and subscribed so we can keep sharing these beautiful gardening discoveries together. And please leave a comment below telling me which ground cover you are planning to plant first. I genuinely read every single comment, and I absolutely love hearing about what's going on in your gardens. Happy no-mow gardening to you all, and please take very good care.